like we can see in Ireland, like how the mainstream society is just living out the shadow. You know, it's the drink culture, anesthesia and amnesia. It's what Francis Weller says, just numbing ourselves to our difficult feelings and trying to forget by drinking or entertaining, watching movies and going shopping and all this kind of stuff. So many people on antidepressants. Depression isn't, it's just a symptom of soul loss, and yeah, we need to look at what is influencing that in order to reclaim ourselves and live out the fullness of our lives. And part of that is the hurt that was caused to the Irish people by the colonialists, like over several hundred years. They took our language, they took our land, they took our culture, our grieving rituals. And before we had the keening women, the Mná Cuinche, and they would come to funerals and they would like tell the story poetically of the person who died in a lament with like grieving sounds, and they would activate the grief of the community, and the community would all grieve together. That was done for thousands of years in the land. That was a way, and only a couple of generations, a few generations ago, it was taken away. So that's still part of us, our passionate, grieving souls. All of the pain that's in us as a subdued people for several hundred years needs to be transformed. We need to find the alchemy to transform it into reclaim ourselves as a people.
Yeah, what springs to mind for me is like I suppose the specifics of what our ancestors had to go through. And I think that like one of those is the mother and baby units and the workhouses that were on the land. You mentioned before about colonization for hundreds of years. We also had the famine where the population of Ireland went from 8 million to like 5 million in a few years. So there's a decimation of the people, there's a decimation of the culture, of the language, of the ways by the church. And so every time I think about these things, there's an awareness that all this is held in the land. And I think especially where we are, I talked about this the last time as well, especially where we are in Connemara, we still have the beds where the people used to plant the potatoes on the side of the mountains, which is a reminder that our ancestors used to live here and that our ancestors are no longer here because of what happened on this land. And when we address the pain of the ancestors, of those who have gone before, then we're really addressing into something that is needed from them. So there's an understanding that the ancestors are on the other side and they can't heal themselves. They can only heal themselves through us. They have the power, we have the bodies, and there's a reciprocal arrangement where we do the healing through our bodies and we gain the power and the presence and the knowledge and the wisdom from them and from the past through them. So there's a reciprocal relationship which is always inherent as humans, and for us to forget our ancestors, forget our past, and only to be looking to the future, we're losing large parts of ourselves within that. So it's a very important ceremony to address all these things.